Jeri Bellini here from Recycle Parts for Art. Welcome to Learn at the Little House. Today's video is a combination of a challenge and an altered book project for my altered book series. So the challenge was put out by Tanya McGuire, and the challenge was to alter a tin. And so I have tons of tins, and you will be seeing them in the Etsy shop when this video airs. So I grabbed a tin, and here it is right here in my book, and started playing. And I thought this would make a really interesting cover for my altered book. So what I wound up doing really quickly, because you're going to see in the video, it's more of my thought process as I was doing this challenge than an actual how-to, although I do explain to you what I'm doing and how I'm doing it along the way. But if you have any questions about any part of it, please put them in the comments below. So I decided to start with a book cover. So as you know, or maybe you don't know, I sell book covers in the Etsy shop as well. And I love to alter them and use them in my art. So I'm going to, wasn't sure if I was going to use it on the cover. This is my altered book that we've been working on. So I wasn't sure if I was going to use it on the cover or as an inside page. You almost can kind of go either way because it really isn't that thick. And altered books, they tend to be gator mouth, you know, when you're finished. And that's the purpose of them, so that you stand them up, you know, like this, and you can see all the beautiful work inside. Anyway, I think after I started going on this project, I decided to use it as the cover, and you'll see why as you watch the video. But I really love the way she turned out, and her name is Ella. And yeah, I'm glad you're joining me on this interesting journey. So I made a huge mess while I was creating, but what else is new? I used, this is, her dress is this book spine, and I just wanted to let you know that this is for sale in the Etsy shop as well. And I'm trying to see what else. And I do have a lot of watch parts, which is here, and these are watch parts as well, that I would like to get listed in the Etsy shop too. This is a watch band, and this is a Barbie hanger, and this is a bottle cap. So let's get started. Just wanted to show you some of the supplies that I'm going to be using, unless of course I change my mind along the way, which is quite possible. So I'm going to use this old book, the back of a book, and since this is still attached, I'm going to leave it. I have an idea in the back of my head on how I'm going to combine this project with my altered book series. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to use this bottle cap and perhaps some of the things, the rest of the things that you see here on the table. These are little garter things. This you're probably wondering, or maybe you're not, what it is. It's the spine of a book, of a vintage book, and possibly whatever else is on my table. So I will be back in a moment and we will get started. I did forget to show you that I want to use this tag and some of this coffee dyed packing paper too. So I'm going to start with that. So let's just do that. I'm going to cover this tag, and this tag has been coffee dyed as well. And I'm going to remove the little thing on there. And I'm just going to use a glue stick for this. And I almost forgot my catalog. I do everything on a catalog so I don't have to clean up my space. So I thought this might be a fun thing to do to participate in Tanya's challenge. All right, I wanted to show you what I'm doing, and a lot of it is a thought process and trial and error, and so the recording would be like extremely long if I just left it on while I was doing that. But I'll stop every so often and tell you what I'm doing. So this is the tag that I glued this paper on, and you're probably saying, why did you do that? I wanted something with some substance to help me along. And I also want like ratty edges. So you can rip, you know, paper, but I also have this thing that I think I bought it in Michael's or whatever, and I think it's used to tear thread. I'm not sure. It's from Japan. It's from clover. But I use it to distress edges. And I also have another thing that distresses edges, but I'll save that for another day. So basically, this is going to be like a form of a person. And I decided to use this, this tin instead of this one. And this is a like a Barbie doll hanger that I just found. I couldn't throw it out. I don't know why. So I'm going to use this as the shoulders, the head, and the arms. Okay, so what I did is I laid it out, and I have these oversized snaps things, rivet things, I don't know what they are, that I'm going to use to show, you know, those things. I don't want to get knocked off YouTube, so I won't say what that is. Now, this is going to go here, and then my beautiful book spine is going to be the bottom. So what I did is I laid this hanger down, and I just traced out, you know, the sides to give me the shoulders. And then I also don't want any brown paper sticking out on the edges of this. So ultimately so I'm going to remove these for a moment. So ultimately you can see that there's a female shape starting to happen. What I want to do ultimately, I don't know if I'm going to be able to or not, but I want to embed this. So I'm thinking this is probably going to ultimately wind up on my altered book, the cover. I think you're and so I didn't want anything to really be sticking out too much. Now that's one of the reasons why I chose this one. It's thinner than the other one. So I have an idea. So hang with me. So right now I put this down, and I want to make her waist. So I'm going to cut out her waist, and it really does help that this is a and I don't want to do it too perfectly, that this is on a tag or cardstock or anything. I just happen to use a tag. Okay, so now I'm going to take this this little thing and just kind of try to rough up the edges. That's what I've been doing. I think she's looking pretty sweet so far. Okay, so, you know, of course you're likely not going to have the same things that I have, but I just thought it might be fun for you to see my thought process and how I'm creating this. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is try to figure out how to embed it. All right, so this is where I figured it's going to be right about there. And I drew a line on here. I don't know if you can see it. And I'm going to get my X-Acto, and I'm going to cut this out. And you don't need to see me do that. All right, 20 minutes later. I kid you not. The hole is out. And you have to do it very slowly and just do like one, you know, little cut at a time, and just be very patient. And then after you do that, take a little sandpaper and just clean it up a little bit because it's a little ratty. It's perfect. So on to the next step. I don't know what that is. Give me a minute and I'll get back to you about that. All right, my tin fits in, and you see where the lip is there? That actually fits like right inside this book cover. It just extends just a tiny bit on that side. This is like perfection. Seriously, I'm excited. All right, so now I put my little dress form on top of that, and I traced out. What I did is I laid my dress form down where I want it, and placed my pieces to make sure that it wasn't going to go off the top, blah blah blah. And then I just picked the whole thing up and traced around here. So now you can see when I cut this, it's going to be in two different pieces, but that's all good. You have to be willing to just kind of take one step at a time and do one thing at a time, and see where it all leads you. And you may wind up with something you didn't expect. Now it's in two pieces, but it fits perfectly. And so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue some of this stuff down. So I'm waiting for my glue to dry. I decided to work on my tin a little bit, and I decided I don't want to scratch this off. Okay, we're going to do a little recap of what we've done so far. Well, with the tin anyway. So I put the brown paper, you can see it better on this one. I put the brown paper inside, and I put it around the outside edge too. I used tacky glue, and I did it on the top. This is the, sorry about that, that's the top of the lid. And I made a little sign out of this yellow vintage parchment paper that I have, and it says "Make time to create." And I use these little alphabet blocks that I love, that I think I paid $1 for. And this is the bottom, okay, so it's the wider part, and I put a watch in there, so make time to create. And I have this cotton, I don't know what it is, but I decided to use that, so I put it around the loop there in the watch, and I poked some holes in the side of the tin with, I have a hole punch actually that punches through metal, but you could use an awl or something. Just be careful. This metal isn't that thick. So now I'm going to make a dress out of the book spine. So I'm just going to kind of play with it, and I have some pieces. I have a box with these little pieces here, so I'm going to pull out some of these pieces, and I'm going to put together a cute little skirt. Okay, there's a huge mess on my table. I don't think I'm ever going to dig out from under it, but I wanted to come back on and show you the finished piece. You might say it's still wet, so it's still got to dry, so I don't want to fool with it too much. So I found these pieces. I have a lot of watch parts, so I glued these down, and I thought, well, I want to make sure this lid stays on, and I'm not going to press it down right now, but it's pretty tight, but I want to make sure it stayed on. And I thought, it would be cute if she had a belt to put across there to separate her skirt from her up part. And I couldn't figure out how to attach this so that I could easily, open it so that people could, just open this and look inside, because that's the whole point, right? And I came up with this idea. So this is a piece of sari silk, and I made a knot in the end, and I actually used a so I put that through, and then on this side I opened it up so you can see there's a big one there. And then my intention is, this is wet. This was the end of a watch band, so I cut that off, and I'll put this through here. And maybe I should just show this to you tomorrow when it's dry. Okay, and just wrap it around a little bit. like this. I'm trying not to, I'm trying not to pull it too tight because this is, I just glued this. So I'll trim this to the desired length when I'm finished. And anyway, I love the way it came out, and I want to thank Tanya McGuire for the challenge. And I made up my mind, as part of my year-long word, deliberate, to be a little bit more deliberate and participate in some challenges, because I think they're super fun. This is my altered book, and my intention was for this to be the cover. And I like to do layers of cover. So, you know, when I say layers, I mean this book board, and then this glued on top of that, and then this is, you know, on top of that. I had thought about putting another piece behind here too, but as you can see, that didn't happen. So this very well may be the cover to my altered book. So this is going in the altered book series. Yes, because I love it. I do love it. And if it doesn't turn out to be part of the cover, I think I could actually put it inside the book too, if I removed some pages. And I really enjoyed doing this, and I want to thank you all for watching and hanging out with me today. And I hope you all have a blessed day full of love and recycled art. And I would request that if you enjoyed this video, that you would share the link with your friends that you think might enjoy it, and also consider subscribing and following me. And all my follow me information is down below in the description box. So until next time, bye-bye everyone.